Alright, so today we're going to be checking out a little flyer made by a company called Syma. They make a bunch of stuff and they make a lot of really cool stuff. And so today we're going to be looking at the X100 4-channel pressure fixed position hovering drone. It has some pretty unique features like obstacle avoidance. I'm pretty excited to see how that works. So this is the box it comes in, quite a decent sized box. So as we can see, this is for ages 14 and up. We have nice pictures around and this says obstacle avoidance mode. This is what the bottom looks like. And here we have some information. We have the avoidance mode, we have 1 key takeoff and landing, barometer set height, so I guess it knows, how high it is off the ground and stays there. 360 flip, it's using a 2.4 gigahertz frequency, which is great because it's for long range and you can use it outside. Headless mode, which makes it very simple, especially for beginners, to control the drone. And we got flashing LED lights. Very cool. Alright, so let's open the box and see what we got. And so as we open it, we have a little note here that kind of warns us about the obstacle avoidance function and how it works. And here's a note about the obstacle avoidance not working in the high speed mode, and also having 2 aircrafts at the same time could be a problem. Okay, so here we can see the flyer, and it's really nice. It has a chrome finish. And we can see it has 4 propellers. And it's a shielded design, so if you hit walls or hit objects, it's not going to hit the propellers, which is a great design. So yeah, this looks pretty interesting, and I don't really see where any switches are or plugs. I do see there's a little power button here on the top, which is nicely camouflaged. And I'm guessing that maybe this is a door that pops off. It does say open on it. We'll figure it out. And there are really nice little foamy feet here for the landing, so it can lance off. So let's go ahead and see what else is here in the box. So it looks like we have another piece that comes out, and then the user manual on the bottom there. So let's check out what we have in here. Alright, and it looks like the remote. Wow, check that out, guys. That's really nice. So it has these little foam pads to protect the knobs. Wow, that's a really nice looking remote. Feels quite futuristic. It looks like that's where our batteries will go in this door. And we have 2 little antennas. Very nice. 4 buttons here for functions. Power button. And then our joysticks here to fly the craft. So there's actually more stuff in the box here. Alright, so it looks like we have a baggie. So we get a little Phillips screwdriver. That's to unscrew this little screw to get to the batteries. A USB charger to charge the battery. 4 extra propellers just in case you damage yours somehow. And these are quite large. So this thing will probably be very stable with these large propellers. But as you guys can see, damaging these things would be a task in itself. Unless, you run into like some sticks or something inside there. So yeah, it looks like this thing is really built to last. And the last thing we have is the battery itself. And it looks like that is a 3.7 volt, 300 milliamp hour battery. So I think before we do anything, we should go ahead and put this thing on charge. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it. I really like the plug that they're using here because it's really easy to plug and unplug. A lot of these little drones, this is where they're really lacking in this area. Having really tiny little plugs that get damaged over time. So as I plug that in, we get a red light already even though we're not even charging. That's kind of interesting. Alright, so I'm going to plug it in, and we are still red, interestingly enough, so hopefully it's charging. And I'm guessing when it's done, it's either going to turn green or just turn off completely. So while we're waiting for the battery to charge, let's go ahead and open up this little lid here underneath and see how that works. And the way you open it, it looks like there's a little flap here. You can see the little indentation for your finger, and it says open right here. And all you do is you just pull this down, this little flap, and it opens the cover. And would you look at that, we already have a battery inside of it. So we get 2 batteries. That's pretty awesome because you're going to have a lot of playtime with 2 batteries. So it looks like taking the battery is quite simple. You just pull it out, and inside there we can kind of see the electronic board that controls everything. So yeah, it looks like quite a nice and good way to house all this stuff, and it's really easy to put the battery in. There's this little band here that stretches. And it goes right in, and then we can plug it, or maybe plugging it before putting the battery in would be easier. But the cool part is there's room right here underneath the lid where the connector can fit. Normally that's what you fight with in other drones, but here it's no issue. Plenty of room for everything in there. Very cool. Let's go ahead and put some batteries in this remote. So we're going to pull the little screw out. Alright, and so it looks like we need 1, 2, 3, 4 AA batteries. And I like that they're using AA batteries. Not only do they last longer, but they're a lot easier to find, seems like, around the house. They're not all the same brand, but that should be alright for this thing. It's just a remote. Alright, so since we got batteries in the remote and there's a battery in here, let's go ahead and power it on and see how it works. So first we're going to turn on the remote, and then we're going to hit the power button here on the drone. And there it goes, it comes on. So there's quite a few lights here. There's green ones and there's red ones. So I think the red is the front maybe and the green is the back, but I'm not sure, we'll find out. Alright, so what we need to do now is we need to put the left analog stick all the way down, or maybe wait, all the way up. There it goes, and then all the way down. And that connects the remote to the drone. So theoretically now we're paired and we're ready to fly. So I'm going to give it a little test here. So I just pushed it up and it started spinning. So I guess it was getting ready for takeoff, but I canceled it. Okay, there it goes. Alright, so it seems to be drifting my way a bit, but it is hovering quite nice. It looks like we need to adjust the drift a bit. And the green lights definitely point towards the remote. Let's see if I can land this thing. That wasn't too hard to land. Go all the way down and it lands. So it looks like it needs to be calibrated. And as you can see on the remote, there's not really any kind of calibrations. So in the manual here, it kind of tells us how to use all the functions. And the way to calibrate it is to put both of these analog sticks in this direction. So let's go ahead and try that. You can see it blinking. And then there's the calibration this way. It blinks fast. So I think one of them is the hover calibration and the other one is for the yaw, whatever, the leaning. So hopefully that'll do it and we can go ahead and fly it. Okay, so it's definitely much better. It's still hovering towards me just a little bit. But yeah, this thing is really stable and actually quite easy to fly. So there is a way to trim this thing, and if you guys can see, basically what we need to do is click the left analog and then use our right analog stick here to trim it as it's flying, I guess. Alright, so I'm going to try to trim it. So yeah, you simply just click the stick and hold it, and then you can trim it whatever way it needs to go. So it's quite stable right there, I think. Let's see if we can go against the wall. Well, it doesn't want to. It pushes against the wall. Look at that. See if I can fly right into it. Ah. Wow, it's pretty smart. So there's actually a few ways you can land it. You could either land it by pushing down and then it'll land like we did earlier, or you can do this, take off or land the same way. So if you hold these two knobs in together like that. Or you can push this button right here and that'll automatically land or take off. So if I push it, it'll take off. And if I push it again, it lands right back. So I think this is probably the easiest way to do it, is use this button here. So let's go fly it around and see how it avoids obstacles. That's the interesting part to me. Alright, so I'm going to take off. Let's see if I go towards that wall. Yeah, it pushes right back. But it doesn't really want to hit anything. There it goes. It looks like we already have a low battery, but let's see. Yeah, it won't hit the walls. It just goes right back. That's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and land it right here. Really easy. It just pushed that button and it landed. Alright, so it looks like we exhausted that battery. But yeah, as you can see, guys, it's really easy to operate. And in slow mode, I mean, it doesn't, move around fast, but it avoids walls and anything when it gets close to it. So if you're the kind of person that's nervous about, hitting walls with your drone, this thing is great. It really works. It avoids anything nearby. So it seems to fly pretty great inside the house. Let's take it outside and see how it does out there. Alright guys, so we're outside and let's go ahead and let me show you how to calibrate or at least initiate the headless mode. So what you're going to do is you're going to power on the remote first and then the drone. And so then we're going to activate it by going up and down. And then after that, what we're going to do is we're going to click this right analog stick and we're going to hold it for a few seconds. And that basically positions the drone to the remote, and so it should be in headless mode now. So let's go ahead and fly it and see what happens. So yeah, no matter which way I twist, it still comes my direction. And if you want to disable headless mode, we're just going to push this and hold it. And now it's back to normal. So outdoors, you're now going to really be able to fly it in slow mode. And the way to change it between slow mode and the faster maneuverability mode is you're going to have to click the right analog stick here. And if you hear one beep, that means it's slow, and if you hear two beeps, that means it's in the fast. And our sprinklers just came on, so let's go ahead and try to fly anyway. And it is breezy, by the way, guys. So I don't think this thing's waterproof, but we're going through the water anyway. and we'll wait till the sprinklers turn off and we'll try to fly some more. I'm kind of curious if I can do a flip, or a 3D flip they call it. So it flips in every direction actually, which is kind of cool. And it's actually a pretty simple procedure. I'll show you guys in a second. So all you do as you're flying is you push this button here, the one below on the right side, and then go the direction you want to go to do the flip. Push it and then flip it. And that is the 3D flip. Let's do a front flip. Okay, so it won't let me do flips anymore because the battery's low, and that's indicated by the blinking green lights. Let's see how long we can fly it on a low battery, out of curiosity. So I can tell the power is diminished somewhat. Still boogieing along though. Anyways, it just keeps going, so it's probably a good idea to land it because, okay, there it goes. Because you don't want to drain your battery completely, so once it starts blinking, you might as well end it. And that'll, preserve your batteries much longer. So I want to see, how high we can go. Let's at least try to go on top of that cactus here, which is quite far actually, probably about 15 to 20 feet tall. Let's see if we can go over there. Now look at that, no problems. And I can even crash into the cactus because of all those guards it has. It has no issues dealing with the cactus even if I'm ramming into it. It's kind of cool. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to try to attempt to show you guys how fast it goes up. I'm going to go straight up. So surprisingly, it's easy to see it even from far away. So we're looking for green lights and I can see them even from a distance. So yeah guys, as you can see, it's a really nice little drone. Now it's probably made a little bit more for indoor use, because out here, if there's any kind of more major wind, it definitely, affects this because there's a lot of, mass to push on. So it's more friendly for indoors, and having the obstacle avoidance obviously works better indoors also because that is infrared. And plus on the slower mode, it's not quite enough to fight against the wind. But overall, this thing's really fun to use and quite easy and simple. And probably the biggest highlight of this thing is the obstacle avoidance, which would be great for, some younger users or anyone that's afraid, hitting stuff and damaging the drone. So this makes it really easy and fun to play indoors for just about anybody. So it looks like I'm able to get about 10 minutes of playtime on each battery, which is a pretty good amount. And while I'm playing one, the other one's charging. So yeah, they make it really nice where you can have a good playing time. Alright guys, well hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, then hit that like button. If you want to pick up a drone like this for yourself, I'm going to have some links in the description, so check that out. And if you enjoy videos like this and you want to see more things I do on the channel and you're not subscribed, then hit that subscribe button. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.